Awaken Light Audio. Awaken your mind, ignite your light.
Watch this every day and change your life. Daily motivation for winners. What if one habit could rewire your entire life? What if there was one thing, just one, that could silently reconstruct your thinking, reshape your emotions, and redirect your destiny? Not a breakthrough, not a miracle, just the quiet commitment of showing up to truth every single day. You become what you repeat, every thought you let in, every word you listen to, every video you play is forming you. So if you wake up every day listening to doubt, fear, and noise, you will live by default. But if you wake up every day listening to belief, discipline, and vision, you will live by design. The person you want to be already lives inside you. But that version of you, they're waiting for your decisions, not your excuses. They're built through repetition, not random bursts of motivation. They don't show up on special days. They show up when you do. Every single day. This isn't a motivational speech you listen to once and forget. This isn't background noise while you scroll through the same feed you scrolled yesterday. It is a ritual, a reset button for your mindset, a tool to train your thoughts before the world trains them for you. Because life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by choice. And every day you wake up, you're choosing who you listen to, what you believe, how you respond, and who you become. And the truth is, most people never change. Not because they can't, but because they never make change. A daily practice you can. You are not here to survive another day. You are here to rewire your reality. And the key isn't somewhere far away. It's here, in the words you choose to absorb every single morning. This is your daily armor, your daily compass, your daily war cry. Let this be the voice that drowns out the doubts. Let this be the spark that lights the fire. Let this, every single day, be your return to power. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Wake up with purpose. What if the way you wake up is more important than the time you wake up? What if success didn't start with hustle, but with intention? What if everything you're chasing, clarity, confidence, discipline, was waiting for you right now in the first few quiet minutes of your morning? Most people roll out of bed in reaction. They don't rise, they collapse forward. The alarm goes off, they groan. They reach for their phone before their feet even hit the floor. They're already behind on messages, behind on expectations, behind on life. They wake up not with vision, but with avoidance, not with purpose, but with panic. But you're not most people. You're not here to react. You're here to command your morning. You're here to decide who walks out of that room. You're here to wake up on purpose. Because here's the truth, most people forget. Your life doesn't start when the world needs you. Your life starts the moment you remember who you are. The first thoughts are the strongest. Every morning is a mirror. It reflects what you believe about yourself, about your future, and about your worth. If the first thing you feed your mind is chaos, fear, or distraction, that becomes your frequency for the rest of the day. But if the first thing you feed your mind is clarity, strength, and vision, you've already won before the world even begins to compete. Think of it like this. A missile doesn't get guided after it's launched. It's aimed before ignition. Your day is the same. You aim your life before you start it. And the best way to aim it, purpose here, is an illustrative example, the Navy SEAL morning rule. There's a reason elite warriors and world-class athletes guard their mornings like sacred ground. 1. Navy SEAL once said, "The first battle of the day is won in the mind before the boots hit the ground." He wasn't talking about combat, he was talking about identity. Because when you wake up with a reason, you don't need motivation, you move from mission. You don't wander through your schedule, you own your time. It's not about how you feel, it's about what you decide. Let's be honest, some mornings you'll feel tired, some mornings you'll feel uninspired. Some mornings, your bed will feel like a better choice than your goals. And that's when it matters most, because that's when you learn purpose isn't a mood, it's a muscle. You build it every time. You move despite the mood, you strengthen it. Every time you show up, despite the excuse, you don't wait to feel it, you become it. The first practice today, craft your morning mantra. Starting tomorrow, when you wake up, don't reach for your phone, don't scroll, don't snooze, don't retreat. Instead, breathe in deep and speak this truth out loud. Today, I move with purpose. Today, I choose power over panic. Today, I don't wait to be ready. I lead from who I've decided to become, then go not to check. Notifications, not to react to the world, but to begin your day as the architect of it. Your morning shapes your momentum. The people who win aren't the ones who wait for clarity. They're the ones who create it. They build. Mornings like rituals. They treat the first hour like sacred ground, because they understand if you can win the first hour, you can win the day. And if you win the day, every day, your entire life transforms. So wake up, not just from sleep, but from smallness, from autopilot, from excuses. This is your life, and it starts now. Wake up with purpose, and never wake up lost again. Chapter 2. The First Hour. Set the tone for victory. What if the first 60 minutes of your day secretly determined the next 24? What if the battle between success and mediocrity isn't won in the meetings, in the workouts, or even in the grind, but in the quiet, unseen hour when no one's watching? That first hour isn't just a part of your morning. It's the launch pad of your momentum, the architecture of your mindset. And the truth is, you're either setting the tone or letting life set it for you. Why the first hour matters, you see. The first hour isn't about productivity, it's about priming your thoughts, your emotions, your energy. Imagine stepping into battle with no armor. That's what rushing into your day without alignment feels like. The world is noisy, emails, notifications, expectations, demands. And if you don't claim your mind first, it will be claimed for you. But when you take the first hour and dedicate it to intention, everything changes. You shift from pressure to purpose, from chaos to clarity, from reacting to responding with power. This is what high performers understand. It's not just about waking up early, it's about waking up right. Most people don't start the day, they escape it. Let's be honest, most people don't start their day, they run from it. They hit snooze. Hoping 5 more minutes will solve what they didn't face yesterday, they scroll to distract themselves. They rush into routines they didn't design, and by the time they've had their first sip of coffee, they're already mentally exhausted. Why? Because they never took ownership of the most powerful hour available to them, the first one. But you can change that. And when you do, your day stops controlling you. You control the day. Build your first hour ritual. There's no perfect morning routine, only a personal one. But the most effective first hours have 3 non-negotiable components. Number 1, stillness. Give yourself space to breathe, meditate, pray, journal. Not because it's trendy, but because it clears the static. The noise outside only overwhelms you if there's noise inside. Number 2, movement. Get the blood moving. Stretch, walk, breathe deeply. When you move your body, you wake up your spirit. Energy isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. Number 3, intention. Don't dive into the day. Design it. Look at your priorities. Visualize your goals. Set your focus before the world tries to take it. Ask, what would make today a win? Even before I check a single box. This kind of clarity transforms you from a task machine into a vision-driven force. Here is an example. The Steve Jobs mirror test. Steve Jobs once said, "Every morning, I would look in the mirror and ask myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today?" And whenever the answer was no for too many days in a row, I knew something had to change. That's not just poetic, that's practice. The first hour isn't about checking boxes. It's about checking in with your soul. Let's talk about the science of momentum. Psychologists call it the primacy effect, the principle that the first experience of the day holds disproportionate influence over your mood, productivity, and perception of everything else that follows. It's why a rushed, anxious morning often turns into a reactive, overwhelmed day, but a centered, intentional start that becomes the fuel for decisiveness, resilience, and flow. You're not just managing time, you're managing mental architecture. You're programming the day before it programs you. The second practice, today, write a morning contract with yourself. Try this for the next 7 days. Wake up and write down 3 statements. Today, I will own my focus. Today, I will protect my peace. Today, I will move with clarity. Then write 1 sentence to define what winning looks like today. If I accomplish just this today, it will be a win. Make it simple, make it powerful, make it yours. Repeat it out loud and then step into your day as the designer, not the reactor. Protect the first hour like it's sacred, because it is. This hour isn't negotiable. It's not optional if you're serious about your growth. It's the foundation of your mindset, the defense against distraction, the ignition of your discipline. Let others rush into their days. You build yours. Let others check their phones. You check your direction. Let others chase urgency. You chase mastery. Set the tone. Shape the day. Win the morning, and the rest will follow. Chapter 3. You are the architect. Design your future. Look around you. Every brick, every line, every shape in your life, your habits, your beliefs, your relationships, your results. They all stem from one truth. You are the architect, not your parents, not your past, not the people who hurt you. You have that single quote as not just a motivational phrase, it's a responsibility and a reclamation of your power, because if you built it, you can rebuild it. Your life isn't random, it's constructed. We live most of our lives thinking we're reacting to the world, when really, we're reacting to blueprints we didn't choose. Someone else gave you the blueprint for what success is supposed to look like, what's realistic, what you should or shouldn't do, how happy you're allowed to be. But here's the question. Did you design that blueprint? Or did you inherit it? Because if your life feels unfulfilling, it's not because you're broken. It's because the blueprint is dot, and the moment you realize you can redesign it, everything changes. Stop living by default. Live by design. Most people never pause long enough to ask, whose dream am I actually building? They're following paths someone else drew, often with good intentions, but wrong directions. But you're here now because you've decided to stop living on autopilot. That makes you dangerous, in the best way possible. You've stopped accepting the blueprint handed to you, and started drafting one aligned with your soul. That's how change happens, not all at once, but choice by choice. The 3 corners of a powerful life design. Like any structure, your future is held up by foundations. Without them, it collapses under pressure. There are 3 corners you must intentionally shape. The first corner, vision. What does your ideal life feel like? Not just numbers or titles, but energy, peace, impact? Write it out. Be vivid, be unapologetic. Clarity isn't luxury. It's the compass for your design. The second corner, belief. Do you believe you're worthy of building it? You can't create a future you secretly think you don't deserve. Self-worth isn't optional. It's the soil where your actions take root. Kill the lie that you're not enough. You were enough the moment you were born. You've just forgotten, and it's time to remember the third corner. Action. What small bricks can you lay down today? Dreams without structure are fantasies, but dreams with discipline become reality. Don't wait for the big break, start stacking the small ones. There is a story about the blueprint builder. Think of your life like a house you're building, would you? Let just anyone walk in and start rearranging the walls. Trust a stranger's opinion on how big your living room should be. Build the whole thing based on what they think feels right. No? Then why do we do that with our lives? You wouldn't build a physical structure without a blueprint, a plan, and a purpose. So stop building your emotional and spiritual life without the same quote. To remember, you can't build a future you haven't first imagined. But when you imagine it clearly and build it daily, even mountains will move for you. The third practice, draft your life design statement. Take 20 minutes today and write this out. I am designing a life where I, complete with details, your career, energy, values, routines, relationships, the beliefs I must embrace too. Build this life are. The daily actions I will take are. Don't wait until it's perfect. Just begin, write it, read it every morning, and let your actions follow your architecture. You aren't stuck. You're under construction. Every day, you are laying bricks. And 1 year from now, your reality will reflect either the life you designed intentionally or the one you tolerated accidentally. Be honest. Which are you building? The tools are in your hands. The vision is in your mind. The power is in your belief. So design boldly, build deliberately, live as if your life depends on it, because it does. Chapter 4. You don't need to feel ready, just start. What if ready is just an illusion, a soft excuse wrapped in good intentions? And what if the only way to become who you're meant to be is to begin before you feel worthy, prepared, or certain? We live in a world obsessed with readiness. You're told to wait until the time is right, until you feel confident, until you've read enough books, taken enough courses, gathered enough courage. But the truth is, you'll never feel completely ready. Readiness isn't a feeling, it's a byproduct of movement. It shows up after action, not before. You don't build confidence in your mind, you build it in motion. And here's the uncomfortable truth. If you keep waiting until you're ready, you'll wait forever. Think about the people you admire, the ones who seem unshakable, driven, free. They didn't start because they were ready. They became ready because they started. Every master was once a beginner. Every legend had a day one, filled with fear, doubt, and uncertainty. But they moved anyway. They took imperfect steps forward. They stumbled, they doubted, they wanted to quit, and they kept going. You don't need perfection. You don't need certainty. You don't even need to know how the whole path will unfold. You just need to take one step, and then the next dot, and then the next. That's how readiness is born, in sweat, in effort, in real-world experience, the enemy called someday. Someday is the most dangerous word in the language of dreams. Someday, I'll write that book. Someday, I'll get in shape. Someday, I'll apply for that job. Someday, I'll live the life I actually want. But someday is a lie. It's a comforting stall, a trap that looks like patience but is actually procrastination. There is no perfect moment, there is only now. And the longer you wait, the more your dream withers in silence. The people who win in life aren't the most prepared. They're the ones who start while still unsure, unqualified, and unconfident. They just refuse to let fear dictate the first move. You think you need to feel confident before you begin. No, you need to begin in order to feel confident. Confidence is not a prerequisite, it's a result. It's built brick by brick with each promise you keep to yourself, each uncomfortable action, each moment you move forward, when it would be easier to stay still. Do it scared, do it unsure, do it messy, just do it. The moment you act, the illusion of fear starts to dissolve. You realize that the mountain wasn't as high as you imagined, that the chains holding you back were made of paper, that the limits you feared were mostly your own invention. The power of momentum. A reason the first step is always the hardest, because once you move, you build momentum. And momentum is a force greater than motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. But momentum creates its own energy. That's why action matters more than inspiration. Waiting for motivation is like sitting on an empty train track waiting for a ride. But building momentum, even from the smallest action, is like turning the key. In an engine, it might sputter at first, but once it starts, everything begins to move. Ask yourself, what dream are you delaying because you don't feel ready? What part of you is still waiting for permission, approval, or certainty? Now ask yourself, has waiting made you stronger? Or has it made you smaller? The truth is, life doesn't wait for you to feel ready, and neither should you. One more practice, the 5-second rule. Next time you hesitate, don't think, don't analyze, don't talk yourself out of it. Just count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Stand up. Send the message. Start the task. Walk out the door. Begin the workout. Say yes. Say no. Whatever it is, move. Interrupt hesitation with motion. Because the longer you wait, the louder fear becomes. But the faster you move, the quieter doubt gets. Tell yourself, I don't need to feel ready to begin. Right? Don't need to know everything to take the first step. I'm not waiting for the perfect time. I'm creating it with action. Chapter 5. Discipline. The bridge between desire and destiny. Desire is where your dream is born. Discipline is what makes it real. You can wish, you can hope, you can even pray. We can even pray with all your heart. But if you're not willing to show up daily, your destiny stays a fantasy. Everyone wants success. Everyone wants freedom, impact, abundance, growth. But very few are willing to do what it takes, consistently. And that's what separates the wishers from the winners. It's not talent, it's not timing. It's not timing, it's not even passion. It's discipline. The quiet, gritty, daily choice to keep moving, even when it's boring, even when no one's watching. Even when it's hard, repetitive, unsexy, thankless. Discipline is not motivation. Motivation is a mood. Discipline is a decision. Discipline says, I don't care how I feel today, I care about who I'm becoming. That's why it's so powerful. It trains your identity. It shapes your reality. It transforms potential into power. Desire may inspire the dream, but discipline is the vehicle that drives it into existence. The myth of motivation. Here's the hard truth. You won't always feel like doing the work. There will be days when your body's tired, your mind is foggy, your heart isn't in it. And in those moments, motivation will abandon you, but discipline will carry you. Discipline doesn't ask for your permission. It doesn't wait for your feelings to catch up. It shows up anyway. That's why the greats don't rely on emotion. They rely on routine. You want to change your life? Forget waiting for inspiration. Build habits, build rhythm, build a standard you refuse to drop. No matter how you feel, you wake up and train, not because it's easy, because it's what you were made to do. Discipline builds self-trust, and self-trust builds confidence, the kind of confidence that doesn't need to shout. It walks into the room with quiet power, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. There are only two kinds of pain in life, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Discipline is hard. It asks for effort, commitment, self-control, but regret is heavier. It lingers. It whispers at night when you know you gave in one too many times, so ask yourself, which pain are you willing to carry? Because one builds you, the other breaks you slowly. Consistency over intensity. Discipline isn't about going all out for one day. It's about showing up with excellence every day, especially when no one's clapping. Intensity is impressive, but consistency is unbeatable. The person who shows up daily, even with small steps, will outrun the one who sprints only when inspired. Daily reps, daily routines, daily non-negotiables. That's where breakthroughs are born. Imagine this. You're 5 years into your discipline. You've shown up more days than not. You've stacked quiet win after quiet win. And one day, they say you've changed. They ask how it happened, and you'll smile, because you'll know. It didn't happen overnight. It happened every night. When you chose action over excuses, another practice, design your discipline. Ask yourself, what are my top 3 priorities right now? What daily action proves that I mean it? Now write a non-negotiable habit for each one. Just one. Keep it simple, measurable, and doable. Of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems, and discipline is the system. Talk to yourself. I don't wait to feel ready. I don't depend on motivation. I don't live by feelings. I live by decisions, and my decision is clear. I show up daily. That's what bridges the gap between who I am and who I'm becoming. Chapter 6. Repetition builds belief. You don't become what you wish for, you become what you repeatedly do. Belief is not a gift, it's a habit. Every time you take action, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become, and the more you repeat, the stronger the identity becomes. Belief isn't born, it's built. People often ask, how do I start believing in myself? The answer isn't in some magical affirmation. It's not in a motivational quote or a single breakthrough moment. It's in repetition. Just like a muscle grows from consistent training, belief grows from consistent doing. You believe in your strength. When you train every day, you believe in your creativity when you show up to write, paint, build, again and again. You believe in your discipline when you honor your word, not once, but every day, even when no one notices. The most powerful beliefs are not shouted from rooftops. They are whispered in the small moments when you wake up early even though no one is watching. When you make your bed, hit the gym, meditate, or study, not because you feel like it, but because you said you would. That quiet consistency, it speaks louder than any motivation ever could. Your brain learns by patterns. Here's the science. Your brain builds neural pathways through repetition. The more you do something, especially with intention, the stronger the connection becomes. At first, your mind resists. I'm not that kind of person. I've always been lazy. I can't focus. But every time you push through and take action, even just a little, you weaken the old story and strengthen the new one. Eventually, your brain starts to believe, I'm disciplined, I'm focused, I finish what I start. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens over and over and over again. Repetition is ritual. The highest performers in any field, from athletes to artists to entrepreneurs, all have something in common. Rituals they don't wait for. Inspiration they don't leave their growth to chance. They create patterns that serve their purpose. They repeat the fundamentals over and over until mastery becomes inevitable. Greatness is not a product of doing extraordinary things once, it's doing the ordinary things with extraordinary consistency. You want belief? Earn it. Every morning you rise and show up. Even if you don't feel it, every evening you reflect and commit. Even if you failed that day, you build the belief not by being perfect, but by refusing to quit. That's what repetition does. It makes progress feel inevitable, even when it's invisible. Your identity is shaped in the repeats. Think about this. If you write 1 page a day, you'll have a book in a year. If you walk for 30 minutes a day, you'll transform your health over time. If you reflect 5 minutes every night, you'll become more self-aware than 99% of people. Small reps, big results. But here's the catch. They only work if you stay with them. Repetition rewires your story. From I'm not good enough to I'm growing stronger. From I can't stay consistent to I am the kind of person who follows through. And once belief sets in, really sets in, it becomes a fire that fuels everything. The next practice, the identity rep plan. Pick one area of your life you want to grow in. Now ask yourself, what's one small, repeatable action I can do every single day can I commit to it for 30 days, no matter what? Then do it. Track it. Honor it. Don't worry if it's tiny. Just repeat, because every repetition is a reminder. This is who I am now. The world may try to label you. Your past may try to limit you, but you get to rewrite the story. And you rewrite it not in one big dramatic scene, but in 1,000 quiet repetitions that no one sees. Remind yourself, I don't wait for belief. To find me, I build it. One action, one promise. One day at a time, my habits shape my identity. My repetitions become my confidence. And one day, I will look in the mirror and recognize the person I believed I could become. Chapter 7. Self-talky self-programming. The most influential voice in your life is the one inside your head, not your teacher, not your boss, not your parents, not your critics. What you say to yourself when no one's around, when you're struggling, when you're unsure, becomes the blueprint for who you become. You're always talking to yourself. Whether you realize it or not, self-talk is constant. When you wake up, when you look in the mirror, when you make a mistake, when you chase a goal, you're always saying something. The question is, are you saying things that build you up or break you down? When you whisper to yourself, I'm not good enough. When you sigh, I always mess up. When you shrug, that's just the way I am. You're not just expressing feelings, you're laying bricks in the foundation of your identity, and over time, you build a life that reflects those whispers. Your words shape your world. The mind doesn't argue. It absorbs. It takes what you say and says, okay, that must be true. Speak weakness, and you live weak. Speak doubt, and you move hesitantly. Speak defeat, and your posture follows. But speak courage. Even when you feel fear, speak strength. Even in the presence of pain, speak possibility, even in the face of past failure. And watch how your inner world begins to change. Because when your inner world shifts, your outer world has no choice but to follow. Change the code, change the course. Self-talk is not fluff, it's programming, like code written into your operating system. If your mental script keeps saying, I can't, I'm not enough, or I'll fail anyway, guess what? You'll behave in ways that validate those beliefs, even if deep down they're not true. But if you start feeding your mind new commands, I'm not perfect, but I'm growing. This challenge is tough, but so am I. I've made mistakes, but I refuse to stop. Now you're running a new program. Now you're operating from power, not fear. Your life is not just shaped by your environment, it's shaped by your internal narrative. And the good news, you are the narrator. You can rewrite the script, you can override the old code, right here. Right now, your voice must become your ally. No one is with you more than your own mind, so your voice, your inner dialogue, must become your coach. Not your critic, your warrior. Not your worrier. This doesn't mean lying to yourself. It means speaking truth with intention. It means affirming effort over outcomes, process over perfection, growth over guilt. You are becoming, so speak to yourself like someone worth fighting. For another practice, rewrite the script. Grab a pen, write down 3 recurring negative thoughts you say to yourself. Be honest. Don't sugarcoat. Then, beneath each one, rewrite it, not with fake positivity, but with empowered truth. For example, from I'm so behind in life to I'm moving at my own pace and I'm not done yet. From I always screw things up to I've failed before, but I've learned every time. From no one believes in me to I believe in myself. And that's where it starts. Read it aloud, daily, until your mind starts to listen. You've spoken harshly to yourself for years, called yourself names, doubted your abilities, shamed your setbacks. But what if, just for a while, you became your own friend? What if you spoke to yourself like someone worth protecting, someone becoming something incredible, because you are? Tell yourself, I am the author of my inner story. My voice is not my enemy, it's my weapon. I don't speak to impress, I speak to build, and every word I say to myself is a seed. I choose to plant strength. I choose to plant belief. Chapter 8. Energy Management over Time Management. We've been told our whole lives, manage your time better, be more organized, schedule everything. But what if time isn't the real issue? What if it's not about how many hours you have, but about how much energy you bring to those hours? Because, let's be honest, you can have a full day, but if your mind is scattered, your emotions drained, and your spirit burned out, you'll waste that time anyway. You don't need more hours. You need more presence. There's a reason why some people can get more done in 2 focused hours than others do in a scattered 12. It's not magic. It's not talent. It's energy alignment. When your energy is high, you move with clarity, you solve problems faster, you connect deeper, you create better. But when you're depleted, even the smallest task feels like a mountain. So if you want to change your life, stop asking, how do I manage my time better? Start asking, how do I protect and direct my energy? Think about it. What drains you without giving anything back? What people, apps, or habits consume your attention but never fuel your soul? Where are you leaking energy in the name of staying busy? Busyness is not productivity. Overscheduling is not purpose. You can be active and still stuck. You can be booked and still lost. You can be working and still not moving forward. Because if your energy is misaligned, your effort won't matter. Energy comes from alignment, not hustle. You were not designed to grind endlessly. Yes, work hard. Yes, be consistent. Yes, be consistent, yes. Show up, but not at the cost of your health, not by numbing your intuition, not by pushing through everything without asking why. True energy, the kind that sustains, comes from alignment. When your values, your goals, and your actions all point in the same direction, you become unstoppable. That's when flow happens. That's when peace meets power. That's when effort feels meaningful, not just exhausting. Reset, recharge, reclaim. Managing your energy means taking care of what fuels you. Sleep like your dreams depend on it. Because they do. Eat like your body is a temple, not a trash bin. Move your body, not for vanity, but vitality. Surround yourself with people who speak life, not gossip, not noise. Unplug when the world gets too loud, because silence is sacred. Every day, ask yourself, what fills me up and what wears me down? Then act accordingly. Not perfectly, but intentionally. There's nothing noble about burning out. There's nothing impressive about being constantly drained. You weren't meant to run on empty and call it ambition. You were meant to glow. Live fully awake, not barely surviving, so protect your energy like it's gold, because it is. The next practice, the energy audit. Tonight, take 10 minutes. Write down 3 things that gave you energy today. 3 things that drained your energy. Be honest, then ask yourself, what can I do less of tomorrow? What can I protect more of? Because one small shift in energy management can lead to a giant leap in your effectiveness. Time is equal. We all get the same 24 hours, but energy, that's personal, that's sacred, that's yours to protect. When you manage your energy, you don't just manage your schedule, you manage your future. Remind yourself, I don't chase time, I manage energy. I don't do more to feel worthy, I align more to feel alive. My energy is my responsibility. My power is in my presence. And today, I choose to protect what fuels me, so I can build what matters most. Chapter 9. Cut the noise, keep the focus. We are drowning in information, overstimulated, overloaded, overwhelmed every second. A new notification, a new headline, a new distraction, dressed up as urgency. But what if the secret to clarity isn't more knowledge, but less noise? Focus is not a gift, it's a skill, and like all skills, It must be trained, protected, refined. If you want to go far, you need vision. If you want to go fast, you need clarity. And if you want to go deep, to do work that matters. To live a life that leaves a legacy, you need focus. The problem? We've been conditioned to multitask everything. Scroll while eating. Switch tabs every 30 seconds, to mistake motion for progress, but fragmented attention creates fragmented lives. And you weren't born to scatter, you were born to center. Most of the world is noise. Learn to filter. Not all content is nourishment, not all opinions are guidance, not all voices deserve space in your head. In this world, your focus is currency, and everyone is trying to spend it. Advertisers want your eyes, time. Toxic people want your energy, and your past wants your attention. But here's the truth. You don't owe your focus to everyone. You don't have to absorb everything you're exposed to. Focus is not just about what you look at. It's about what you consciously choose to ignore. Think of a camera lens. When it zooms in, everything else blurs. That's what focus does to your life. It blurs the noise so you can lock in on what truly matters. Your growth, your mission, your relationships, your healing, your calling. Focus doesn't make life easier. It makes it worth it. Because when you cut the noise, you regain your attention. And where attention goes, reality flows. Your future needs more of you, not more distraction. Distractions don't just delay success, they dilute it. Every time you stop to check a message, argue a comment, entertain a comparison, you lose momentum. And momentum isn't just speed, it's belief in motion. The more you stop, the harder it is to start again. So stop handing your focus to the things that won't be there for your future. Start reserving it for the things that actually move your life forward. Next practice, the focus filter for the next 7 days. Ask yourself this one question before doing anything: is this helping me build the life I want? Or is it just noise? Let it guide your scrolling. Let it guide your responses. Let it guide your calendar. Then act accordingly. You don't need to do more. You need to cut deeper. Cut the excuses. Cut the doubt. Cut the fluff. Cut the noise. And what you'll be left with is you. Focused.you. Powerful.you. Unstoppable. Remember that every time I say no to noise, I say yes to clarity. Every time I protect my focus, I accelerate my future. I don't scatter anymore. I lock in, because my destiny deserves my full attention. Chapter 10. You are becoming. Act like it you're not. Who you were last year, you're not who you were yesterday, and you are not who the world thinks you are becoming. Not someday, not after I heal, not once I get that job, not when someone sees my worth. Right now, becoming is a daily choice. You don't become your best self by accident. You become by alignment, by choosing, moment by moment, to act in integrity with the future version of you, the one that already exists in potential. They're not waiting on you to be perfect. They're waiting on you to be honest, to show up, to try again, to push forward, when quitting is easier to rise, even if it's messy. Because becoming isn't clean. It's not always pretty. It's not a straight line. It's war with the version of you that wants to stay small. There will always be resistance. There will always be reasons to delay. But you don't owe your future to fear. You owe it to the highest vision you carry for yourself, and you don't need approval to start stepping into it. You don't need permission to evolve. You just need decision, because transformation doesn't wait for conditions. It waits for commitment. And the moment you act like the person you're becoming, everything starts aligning to match that identity. Identity is not given, it's claimed. Who do you think you are? Because that's who you'll become. Not what your past says, not what the doubters say, not even what your fear says, but what your intentional actions declare. You're not pretending, you're practicing. You're rehearsing the version of you who moves. with discipline, speaks with purpose, acts from faith, not fear, protects energy, builds daily, rises after falling. That's not fake, that's formation. The last practice. Step into your identity. Write this down. The version of me I am becoming. Does underscore now, today, not tomorrow. Take one small action that version would take. Repeat that tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, until. It's not a version you're trying to reach, it's who you are. It's who you've become. You've come too far. To forget who you are, you've fought too hard to shrink now. You've healed too much to act. Broken again, the world doesn't need another copy, it needs your authentic fire. So act like it, speak like it, build like it, lead like it. Walk into every room like it, because you are becoming. And the more you act like it, the faster the world will. Mirror it back. Final reminder, I don't need to wait to feel ready. I don't need to ask who I am. I already know I am becoming, and I choose to act like it.
Thank you for spending this moment with Awaken Light Audio. If something today touched your heart or opened your mind, don't keep it to yourself. Share your thoughts in the comments. What spoke to you most? Tell us about your journey, your questions. Send it their way, because light grows when it's shared. Until next time, stay present, stay awakened, and keep becoming who you're meant to be.